Hi everyone, welcome back to Java 1 for All. In this video, we are going to see how we can convert array lists to arrays and arrays back to array lists. So something that you probably will need at some point in life, and we are going to see how to do it now. So create a new class list array conversion test 01. Yes, VM, and let's first create a list of integers. Let's give some numbers. And let's see how we can get this list into an array. And it's pretty straightforward. It's just that the syntax is a bit weird because we have these two array, and as you can see, it's overloaded. The first option is going to return an array of objects. Well, not ideal because we know the numbers list is a list of integers. Now, the second option is using the overloaded version that asks for an array. So what kind of array do we want? In this case, we want new integer. And here is the tricky part, because the best way to do it is sending an array with 0 as size, and you let Java handle the size. Probably they are going to use reflection. It's kind of figuring out things by itself. But if you try to change this numbers list 01 dot size, you will get a warning from IntelliJ saying that's best to replace it with empty array. And I remember reading some time, like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, that this is actually better in performance than sending the value, the size directly here. So basically creating an empty array has better performance, is safer than actually passing the size. So let's trust IntelliJ on this one, and you will see that we now have access to the array. We can rename this numbers array 01, and you can print both of them, numbers first list. And for array, remember, we need arrays.jstring numbers array. Control Shift F10, and we have exactly the same values. Cool. Basically, from array list, or from list actually, to arrays is pretty straightforward, but things can get a little bit more complicated when we do the other way around. So let's create some into split once we print, and now we are going to create an array of integers. Let's say this is numbers array 02, new integer. Well, we could, I think we can send directly the values here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And we want now to move this array to a list. Now, there are a couple ways, actually there are more than a couple, there are at least 3 ways that we can do this. The first one, and I think is one of the easiest and the most dangerous if you don't know what you are doing, is using arrays.asList. Now, if you get this arrays.asList and you pass it here, the array is going to return a list. Let me call this numbers list 02. Now, this works pretty well, but you have to be careful. Let me show you why. Arrays 02, and here numbers list. So I'm just printing those 2 values. Let me give some space here. Control Shift F10. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Now we have a array list. It means that it's easier for us to work. But the problem is this as list is going to have this array linked. Basically, every change you are going to do here in this numbers list 02, you are going to affect the numbers array, and it's not all the method that you can actually use. For example, you cannot add. For example, let me show you how it works. I'm going to get this numbers array, no, numbers list 02, basically this one, and I will set the position 0, that's 1, to be the value 12. Control Shift F10. And as you can see, both my numbers array 02 and my numbers list have exactly the same value, even though I changed through numbers list. So the S list will have the original array linked. So this is, I think they call it, it's backed by the original array. Now, what should you do? Oh, by the way, you cannot add, right? If you try to add, you are going to get unsupported exception. Now, what if you want to actually be able to change those values? What if you want to have full autonomy and you basically want to copy all these values into a brand new object array list? You can do the following: list integer numbers list 03, and you can create a new array list. And here this constructor is overloaded. We have initial capacity, and then we have another option with a collection. So basically we just copy this entire list and we pass here because it's just expecting a collection. And now if you print numbers list 03, you will see that we have exactly the same thing. But if I come here, for example, numbers list 03, and I try to add 19, you will see that it will not affect the previous ones. So even if you change, it also will not affect the original ones. Now, to finish, we have been creating lists, like always adding one by one. There is another option, the array list is actually expecting var args, and we can create lists just by sending the values that we want comma separated, and this will create a list for us. So either integers, or for example, if you were using as list 1 or 2, you will have a list of strings, but the same rules they apply. You cannot add, they are immutable. And we are using Java 8, but there is another option from Java 9 onwards, that's list.off, and basically we'll do the same thing, but the difference is this one is only available from Java 9 onwards. And actually we can already change. So if we press F4, select the project, press F4, let's set the language level to 11. Recently they just released Java 16, but looks like IntelliJ does not offer this option yet, but we are going to get there. But let's put 11, and then I will let you know when it's functionality from Java 11 or Java 8. And this also will create another list of strings. So more options, and now we can use this or this if you're not going to keep adding or removing from the list. Okay, I think that's enough. Let's continue with more topics about collections in the next video. Bye.